Hi, K-Kids. It's me, Mrs. Rosno. Welcome back for another chapter of Junie B, First Grader at Last by Barbara Park. Today's chapter is chapter 5 called Bug Bag, and Junie B is writing in her journal. Tuesday, dear first grade journal, Mr. Scary just called me in from recess. All the other children are still playing out there. He said for me to write in my journal for a minute, and he will be with me soon. I keep peeking at him from behind these pages. He is printing some sentences on the board. It is extra work for me, I think. I do not actually approve of this. From Junie B, first grader. Mr. Scary put down his chalk. You can stop peeking at me now, Junie B, he said. I looked at him real surprised, 'cause that guy has eyes in the back of his hair, apparently. He turned around and smiled. Do you see these 3 sentences that I just wrote up here? He asked. Yes, I said. I see them. Excellent, said Mr. Scary. Could you stand up and try reading them from back there, please? Just then, my heart got very pumpy and poundy inside, 'cause I'm not good at reading from the board. That's why. I kept on sitting there. Please, said Mr. Scary, just give it a try, okay? Finally, I stood up and I squinted at the sentences. I read real slow. Bob is a bug bag, I read. I did a teensy frown at that news. Really? I asked. Bob is a bug bag? Mr. Scary pointed to sentence number 2. Try this one, he said. I squinted some more. I like my hog spit, I read. I looked at my teacher very curious. These sentences are oddballs, aren't they? I said. Mr. Scary pointed at the last one. Just one more to go, he said. This time I stretched my neck and I squinted my eyes very good. Jack is going to... I scrunched my eyes even smaller. To jail? I said. I did a gasp. Really? No fooling? Jack who? I asked. Mr. Scary came back to my seat. He took my hand and walked me closer to the board. Could you try reading them again from up here, Junie B? He said. I made my voice very whiny. But I don't want to read them again, Mr. Scary, I told him. I already know what they say. One more time, he said. And so finally I did a big breath and I read the sentences all in a row. Bob is a big boy. I like my dog Spot. Jack is going to Jill's. And then I covered up my mouth very surprised. Hey, what do you know? He's going to Jill's, Mr. Scary, I said. Phew, that's a relief, right? Mr. Scary laughed. Right. After that, I headed for the door. Okie doke, well, I guess I'll be getting back to recess now, I said. See ya. I waited for him to answer, but he did not say see ya. I turned around. See ya, I said a little softer, but Mr. Scary shook his head no, 'cause too bad for me, he had other plans. Mr. Scary took my hand. We walked out of room 1 and down the hall. You and I are going to visit Mrs. Weller, Junie B, he said. You remember Mrs. Weller from last year, don't you? I shook my head no, because that name did not ring a bell. Mostly, I would just like to remember recess, I said. Mr. Scary patted my shoulder. Well, Mrs. Weller is a lovely person, he said. Recess is a lovely person too, I said. Mrs. Weller is the school nurse, he said. I stopped walking, because the school nurse is where you go when you are sick or tired, and I was totally fine. But I am in good shape, I said. See me? I don't even need a Band-Aid. Mr. Scary smiled. Then he pulled me along again. Of course you're in good shape, Junie B, he said. But Mrs. Weller does lots of nice things besides giving out Band-Aids. Just then, we walked into Mrs. Weller's office. And guess what? I remembered her perfectly well. I just never knew she had a name before. Why, Junie B. Jones, she said. What a nice surprise to see you again. It's a surprise to see you too, I said, 'cause I'm not even sick or tired. Plus also, I'm supposed to be on the playground right now. Mrs. Weller laughed out loud. Only I don't actually know why. After that, she and Mr. Scary whispered real quiet to each other. Then finally, Mr. Scary patted my shoulder. I'm going to leave you with Mrs. Weller for a while, Junie B, he said. The two of you are going to play a game with her eye chart, okay? All of a sudden, my stomach felt kind of jumpy, because playing a game with the nurse did not sound fun. No, I said inside of my head, this is not okay. Mr. Scary waved. See you, he said. I watched him go, and I did not say see you back. And that is the end of Chapter 5, kids. Chapter 6 is called the E Game. Wow, what is going on with Junie B. Jones? And thinking about our school nurse, too, and why kids or I might go to see our school nurse, Mrs. Huno. You know, if you're feeling sick, have a stomach ache. Like Junie B. said, if you get cut, you need a Band-Aid, an ice pack. Ice packs are great from the nurse. And none of that is going on. So, let's see. Chapter 6, the E Game. I'm stumped. I'm not really sure. So guess what? Let's get back together another day and read Chapter 6 together. Junie B., first grader at last. Kids, I love you so much. Stay home safe and well. You are doing an awesome, rocking job. Keep up the great work. And I'll see you later, alligators. Bye-bye.